All right. All right. Let's look back quickly. And I'm going to rip off a bunch of stats, but feel free to cut me off and chime in whenever you want here. Okay. So 2024, Kalen DeBoer, year one, 9-4 straight up, 7-6 against the spread, 5-3 in the SEC. The under cashed in 6 of their last 7 games to finish 7-6 overall. They returned 6 starters on offense, 8 on defense. They had, according to 247 Sports Composite, the number 4 overall recruiting class, number 3 with high school guys only, number 21 transfer specific, so number 4 overall, 3 5-stars, 24 stars, and 34 overall commits. The 5-stars are quarterback uh, Keelan Russell, number 2 overall player in the country coming out of high school, number 2 quarterback, obviously behind Bryce Underwood going to Michigan, 6'3", 175. He was one of 18 early enrollees. The other 5-star, or the other 2 5-stars, interior O lineman Michael Carroll, 6'6", 315, number 12 overall player in the country, and cornerback Dijon Lee, Mission Viejo, California, 6'4", 190, number 15 overall player, number 2 cover corner. All right, of the 12 transfers, 4 were 4-stars. D lineman Kelby Collins from Florida. It was a bit of a disappointment for the Gators. 2 years, 18 games, 29 tackles, 2 TFLs, 1.5 sack, 1 forced fumble. Cameron Calhoun, a corner at Utah last year, 21 tackles, 9 passes broken up, 1 TFL, 1 interception. And then Isaiah Horton from Miami in 2024, 56, had his breakout year, 56 catches, 616 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And the other 4-star transfer, linebacker Nakai Hill-Green, who had an excellent season at Colorado last year, 12 games, 82 tackles, 12 TFLs, which was 4th in the Big 12, 4 passes broken up, 2 sacks, and 2 interceptions. So Ryan Grubb, who was DeBoer's OC at Fresno State, did good work with Jake Haener, now with the Saints, and did great work with Michael Penix at Washington. He came initially with DeBoer to Alabama, but was only there a few weeks. He got hired OC at Seattle Seahawks, but then he got fired, and now he is back as the OC for DeBoer here in year 2, and maybe that was something that was missing from DeBoer's offense. Maybe Ryan Grubb has got the secret sauce. Coming out of spring, he quoted Ty Simpson would be the starter at QB today, if they had a game today. Austin Mack, who came with them from Washington, he is number 2, and then Russell, the 5-star QB, is number 3. The betting numbers, week 1, Alabama, minus 11.5 at FSU. They're minus 450 on the money line. The Noles are plus 340 on the money line. The total is 51.5. Last meeting, 2017 season opener in Atlanta, 24-7. DeAndre Francois, knee injury, out for the year. Hadn't seen much of DeAndre since then. Alabama has the 3rd shortest odds to win the SEC championship game at plus 500. They have the 6th shortest odds to win the CFP at plus 1,100 or 11-1. Their season win total at FanDuel, 9.5. Shaded to the under, minus 124 price. Over is plus 102. Circa's got the same number, just slightly different odds. Under, minus 120. Over, even money. All right. You want me to rip off a few personnel things? You want to chime in with anything?
I'm just I'm dazzled by your wealth of knowledge.
Okay, well, a little more knowledge then. All right, so running back Jam Miller is back. 668 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns, 4.6 yards per carry average, 16 catches, 155 yards, 1 touchdown. Ryan Williams, best player on the team, rising true sophomore. He kind of tailed off a little bit later in the year, but maybe that was kind of a Milroe thing or just the overall offense, but he was dazzling in September and October. 48 catches, 865 yards, 8 touchdowns. Wide receiver Jeremy Bernard is back, 50 catches, 794 yards, 2 touchdowns. Miller will be pushed by Richard Young at running back, 5.4 yards per carry average last year. Deontay Lawson, linebacker, leader of the defense, 76 tackles, 7 TFLs, 4 passes broken up, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 interception. DB Bray Hubbard, 57 tackles, 3 INTs. Domani Jackson, corner, stud, 52 tackles, 7 passes broken up, 2 INTs, 2 TFLs. And then D lineman LT Overton, 42 tackles, 3 TFLs, 2 sacks, 9 QB hurries, a forced fumble. All right. One scheduling note. We'll talk more stuff before we get to the schedule, but I just want to mention this one. Missouri has 2 weeks to prepare for Alabama, whereas Alabama as at Georgia 2 weeks before and Vandy at home the week before. So rest advantage and a scheduling advantage for Missouri when they host Bama. All right, Greeson, what do you think about, and this is obviously a conversation, how many games has Kalen DeBoer got to win to keep his job?
I think he's got to get to 9.
In the regular season or overall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you're not at 9 in the regular season, then you're not in the hunt for the SEC championship. Because we haven't gone game by game yet, but there's not a whole lot of threats outside the conference. Because it's not only 9, but it's being in the conversation in and around the Iron Bowl of not needing 7 different things to happen to get to Atlanta.
And I hope he doesn't if he doesn't show up at the Hornets' nest and on the Plains and think he's got to win there to keep his job. You do not want to go to an Iron Bowl on the Plains thinking you got to win that game. And things happen in that venue.
All right. The first thing, looking up and down the Alabama depth chart, is it possible that Dre Kirkpatrick has a son who's now a college football player?
Already?
There's a Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. playing DB for Alabama. That's the oldest I've felt all day.
I guess Dre Kirkpatrick was kind of a ways back.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, when Milt Wagner's grandson is getting signed by Calipari, that was my moment of feeling old. I was like, wait a second. Milt Wagner's got a grown grandson? Damn.
Well, Dre's 35.
Oh, I mean, he could have had a kid at 16 or 17. Yeah, sure. I mean, you know the old quote from Brian Cox, the old linebacker from the Dolphins and the Jets, when he was
You realize how many jokes I have right now, right?
Yeah. Let me tell mine. It was a Brian Cox joke. It was Hard Knocks. He's the Falcons D-line coach. And do you remember this?
No. I'm just trying to cover my face because we're telling stories about people having children about a guy named Cox, and it's on Hard Knocks.
Right. Okay. So, his D linemen say, you know, how many kids do you have? He's like 10. And they're like, what? And he's like, I started breeding when I was 10. You little boys.
According to what I see on the internet, Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. is a college sophomore and his dad's 35.
Yeah. I mean, whatever, Dre. I mean, Brian Cox started when he was 10.
Hey, somewhere Sean Kemp saying, hold my beer, you know?
Right? There's another guy Kentucky fans really wish they had seen in that blue.
Well, for DeBoer, look, I think he's good at this. But good at this is not enough at Alabama. And good is never going to be enough when you're the guy replacing the guy.
Yeah. I mean, when you're the Ron Zook, you don't ever want to be the Ron Zook. Zooker, shout out. Yeah. Maybe Ryan Grubb. Maybe that was what was missing. And maybe, Milroe, and I don't like when people bash on Milroe because I know he had a rib injury that was bothering him, and rib injuries suck. And he did not play well in October last year, and I think it was because of the rib injury. But if they have better quarterback play and they have a better OC, I think things could get better. But I just
and maybe Grubb is a better OC, but they're not going to have better quarterback play than what they got from Jalen Milroe over the course of the last 2 years. You can't tell me Simpson or the Mac kid, and unless you hit the complete reset button with the 5-star freshman, and you're only doing that if you know if DeBoer knows that he's got 2026 already in the books, that he's got this year, because once you hit the reset button on the freshman, anything's possible.
Well, it might be that he's like, okay, here's my freshman. Let my freshman save my job, because if I leave, he might be coming wherever I go.
Well, it worked for Billy Napier. DJ Lagway saved Billy Napier's job.
Right. Exactly. So I don't know that you go to the freshman because you are secure that you're coming back in 2026. You might go to the freshman just to save your job. Anyhow, but I think they could get better. I mean, look, Milroe threw 2 interceptions in the Tennessee game. Okay, he made the Vanderbilt game was not his fault. They scored 35 points. You got to hold Vandy to 34 or fewer. But they nearly lost the South Carolina game, and that was not a good game for him. The Oklahoma game was just an abomination by everybody that took the field that night. But I mean, I tell you what, it was slowly happening through the course of the year, but really during the Michigan game, when Michigan was without like all their best players and Michigan manhandled them like that, in my mind, just mentally, everything that had happened for 17 years under Saban, in my mind, I mean, I'm not saying it's erased. They got all the rings and the trophies, but I'm saying the way I mentally look at Alabama is gone. It's bye-bye.
Yes.
But, I mean, bye. It's bye-bye. You're gone. I'm not laying no points with Alabama just because you're Alabama anymore. And I can't believe I laid those, whatever it was, 16. But I think I got a better number earlier than that. But
well, the line by line, because that's not it's a top-heavy schedule, but it's not a terribly tough schedule. And when we break this down, you've lost a game that you're probably going to be favored in if you're not at 9 wins going into the Iron Bowl.
Right. Okay, so the underdog spots before we go game by game. All right, at Georgia is going to be an underdog spot. Depending on how they're playing, maybe at South Carolina, I don't know.
Maybe, but I doubt it, just because of the analytics and the number fading that goes on with just the public perception on Alabama.
Let's see who South Carolina has the week before that. South Carolina has 2 tough games ahead of that. At LSU 2 weeks before, and Oklahoma at home. Oh, gosh. And then at Ole Miss. Ooh, South Carolina's got a rough October. Well, the Ole Miss game's November 1st. I mean, I guess maybe they could be underdogs at Auburn, because that's a bunch of knee injuries, sprained ankles, and interceptions away. So who knows on that one. But really, Georgia's is the only one that we know for certain is going to be an underdog spot. All right, we ready to tackle the schedule game by game?
Let's do it.
All right, at FSU, 11.5. FSU has retooled the roster, but I just don't know that Tommy Castellanos is going to be the savior. He's not going to be Jordan Travis. He can run. He can run it, but I got to give that one to Alabama. Although I won't be shocked if FSU hangs around in that game.
I kind of would be. I actually love that. I love Alabama's spot here. It'll be going on almost 8 full months since they pooped their pants against the Wolverines. You figure out ways to protect whatever you're going to do at quarterback, and you've probably got the best 5 players on the field.
Fair enough. 1-0. Let's go to 2-0 with a home win over ULM. But it was ULM that beat Saban in year 1, wasn't it? Wasn't it ULM?
It was.
Not happening in DeBoer year 2, I don't believe. All right.
Nope.
They went to Madison last year and won 42-10 after a home game with USF that was a 1-possession game with like 6 minutes left. So, and you don't win by 32 in Madison very often, but they did. And Luke Fickell's tenure to date at Wisconsin has been, to me at least, a massive disappointment. And he probably needs to get some things going this year in terms of job security. I got Alabama winning that one.
Easily.
Yeah. Then 2 weeks off for both Georgia and Alabama. Athens, September 27th. I'm going to go Georgia.
So am I. We know game day will be there. Both of those teams will be top 6 in the country at that point. But yes, Georgia, blackout, whole 9.
Yep. All right, the revenge game. Diego's debut at Bryant-Denny. Got to go Bama there.
Completely agree.
Not saying I might not be on Vandy plus double digits. In fact, decent chance I will be, but outright, Bama. Okay, here's the scheduling spot. Missouri, 2 weeks to prepare, and they play UMass at home 2 weeks previous. So they should be, and let me just give you Missouri's September schedule. At home to Central Arkansas, at home to Kansas, at home to the Raging Cajuns, at home to South Carolina. 5. Wow, they start the season with 6 home games in a row? My gosh.
Auburn did it last year, I think.
Yeah. They will not have had to travel, and they will have had the week before to rest, and UMass at home the week before. That is a scheduling gem for drink wits.
Yeah, but still, unless Luther Burton tries to pull a Zakai Ziegler and they somehow figure out a way for Brady Cook to do the Nicolas Cage, John Travolta face-off surgery, I think this Missouri team takes a huge step back.
They do have a lot of starters back, but they're not Brady Cook, friend of the show, or non-friend.
No, hell no, he's not.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Dude, Brady Cook's Von Drago, all right? I must break you.
If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies.
Who is playing quarterback for Mizzou? Sam Horn? Oh, wait. Surely they got a transfer I'm not thinking about. I'll look that up in a second. I almost want to call for an upset here.
Okay, you do it. I'm not.
I got to know who the quarterback is, though. All right. I'm going to come back. I'm going to circle back to the Mizzou game.
Bo Pribla.
Where'd he play?
What, he the Penn State transfer?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think you're right. Yes, I think you're right.
And little Sammy Horn. He craps corn, and I don't care.
I don't know enough about that Penn State guy to call for an upset here, but I want it to be known on the record. I wanted to call for an upset here, but I'm not.
My God, are you saying you're on the record about you almost picked an upset?
Well,
that's such crap.
I haven't got my magazines yet. It's May 23rd. I reserve the right to circle back and change my mind here because we can't. Alabama just does not. These are not just layup games for Alabama anymore. I don't care what they did long ago. These are not just layups anymore. Anywho, all right, we're gonna call them 5-1, heading back home. Revenge game. The Vols. Joey Aguilar playing quarterback. I got to go Bama.
I do too.
All right, next week at South Carolina. The week prior, the Gamecocks have Oklahoma. I'm going with the Gamecocks.
Sitting here in May, this one's tough because, yes, Lenoris Sellers is back, and he's a dude, and he's getting first-round NFL draft conversations around his skill set. But so many of the pieces that made that South Carolina team salty last year have to be replaced.
Yeah, and I know he did another good job in the portal, but regardless, and actually, I'll get to that here in a second, or right this second. Let's see. South Carolina, got it. They only number 15 overall transfer specific class. And let's see. I'm looking for studs. Where are the studs? I see a 4-star Sean Murphy at linebacker from FSU, a 4-star D lineman from A&M who was a 5-star out of high school, Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, a 4-star tight end, Jordan Dingle from Kentucky, and a 4-star D lineman from Missouri, Jalen Brown. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going with South Carolina there. Did you go with South Carolina or no?
Well, I'm gonna take South Carolina here as a little bit of a hedge because I think if they're 6-2 coming out of that with the wiggle room, whether it's South Carolina, whether it's Tennessee, or you're tempted, almost picked Missouri, 6-2 going to the home stretch, I think is a pretty fair valuation.
Yeah. All right, LSU and Alabama, as usual, both have 2 weeks to prepare. It's at Bryant-Denny. What if they're both 6-2? Boy, they both will need this game bad. I'm gonna go Tigers.
I am too. LSU. I actually think LSU is pretty good.
Yeah, I think LSU's gonna be really good. So 6-3, Oklahoma at home, revenge game. I'm gonna go Bama.
Bama.
And Eastern Illinois. So we got them 8-3 going to Auburn. Some Bama fans call it the Hornets' nest. I'm going Auburn.
I am too.
And are we giving Kalen a pink slip?
There are going to be a whole lot of disgruntled folks. Because 8-4 with a loss to Georgia, LSU, and at Auburn, there will be a lot of people less than pleased about that.
Indeed they will. Indeed they will. So we like the under 9.5, and you can get the under at a -120 price at Circa, -124 price at FanDuel. Jay Greeson and I are endorsing Alabama under 9.5.